Dear students, welcome to today's English class. I hope all of you are doing well, and I also hope that you are watching the videos uploaded into our websites by our teachers. In today's session, I'll continue my discussion on changing sentences. Let's begin our today's session. Today's lesson, Changing Sentences, Part 2, Types of Sentences According to Structure and Function. In my previous lecture, I discussed about the structure of sentences and changing sentences from affirmative to negative. In my today's discussion, I'll try to discuss about changing sentences from assertive to interrogative. I hope all of you watched my previous lecture uploaded into YouTube. Here is the learning outcome. At first, the definition of interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences ask a question. We use interrogative sentences to ask questions. Interrogative sentences end with question marks. In English, interrogative questions often begin with interrogative words like who, when, where, why, what, and how. Interrogative questions can also begin with helping verb like do, does, did, and have, has, had, and modal auxiliaries like could, would, should, etc. For example, why are you late? What time is it? Where is the library? Did you watch the movie? Could you pass the salt? Interrogative sentences without question words are generally formed by moving the helping verb before the subject. So do is the helping verb and it is placed before you. Do you have any more cup drops? A question fragment can be added onto the end of a declarative or imperative sentence. This fragment is called a tag or tail question. I hope all of you are familiar with tag questions since you had tag questions back in your SSC. You have answered all the questions, haven't you? This is an example of declarative or assertive sentence. Close the window, will you? This is an example of tag question. Of course, it is an imperative sentence. So will you, the second part of this imperative sentence is used to ask a question. In the same way, haven't you is used to ask a question. So we can't call them sentence, we call them question fragment. A question fragment can also be used by itself, either before or after a sentence. For example, what? You lost your wallet? You are late. Why? So what and why, these two particular words, WH words, are used to ask question. That's why they are called question fragment. Like assertive sentences, interrogative sentences can be either positive or negative. Look at these examples. Positive, do you like coffee? And the negative interrogative form should be, don't you like coffee? Why did you go? Why didn't you go? In case of changing sentences, you are asked to use negative interrogative form only. So in our discussion, we'll focus only on negative interrogative form only. Now look at the table. This table is divided into two segments: sentences with auxiliary verb and sentences without auxiliary. At first, sentences with auxiliary verb. Sentences with auxiliary verb can be affirmative or negative. In case of affirmative sentences, the structure is be verb plus not plus subject plus rest of the part. Look at the example. Amir is a good boy. Amir is subject, is verb. A good boy is an object. And it is made into interrogative using is not Amir a good boy. Using this structure, is verb, not is there. Is so we at first we use be verb. So is the be verb. Then you use not. So not, the contracted form of not is used, isn't. Then subject, Amir is the subject. Rest of the part, a good boy is. So at the end there is a question mark. In the same way, Mahira was present. Wasn't Mahira present? So in case of negative sentences, the structure is be verb plus subject plus rest of the part. Example, I'm not a good writer. They were not sincere. And their interrogative form are, am I a good writer? Were they sincere? So you see, am, this is verb, is placed before subject I. So be verb is there, am is be verb, subject I is there, and rest of the part. So there is no not. Since the sentence itself is a negative sentence, we don't have to bring not here. So you see, while the sentence is in affirmative form, we will use negative interrogative form. But in case of negative sentences, we'll use only positive interrogative form. Now, moving to sentences without auxiliary verb. And they are also affirmative and negative. Affirmative sentences, the structure is don't, doesn't, or didn't, plus subject, plus verb. Of course, what should be in base form, plus rest of the part. I like traveling. And the interrogative form of this sentence is, don't I like traveling? Look, these sentences are written using purple color so that you can just uh, compare them. See, I like traveling, I like traveling. He wants a new car, he wants a new car. It rained last night and it rained. These are written using purple color. So what had happened, we just placed a helping verb, and of course negative form is also used. Don't I like traveling? Don't I like traveling? Because the structure is don't, doesn't, didn't. Sentence is the subject is I, so I is first person singular, so the do verb is don't, and negative is used here. Don't I like traveling? And in second sentence, subject he is third person singular. That's why there is one s after want, and that's why the interrogative form uses doesn't. So used doesn't, and the sentence is doesn't he want a new car? And in case of third sentence, the subject is it. It rained last night. And the tense of this sentence is past tense. That's why we use did. Didn't it rain last night? One thing you should remember, sentences containing everyone or everybody, the following structure should be followed. And the structure is who plus don't or doesn't or didn't plus verb, of course in base form, and rest of the part. And the examples are everyone loves flower. So the sentence begins with everyone, and in second sentence everybody wanted to get on the train, and third sentence all wants a comfortable. So everyone, everybody, and all. And their interrogative forms are who doesn't love a flower? Who didn't want to get on the train? Who doesn't want a comfortable life? Everyone loves flower. This is an example of assertive sentence, and of course it is in present form. And everyone is considered as third person singular. That's why we use doesn't form for everyone. Who plus doesn't plus rest of the part. Second sentence, everybody, it is also considered third person singular, but the tense is past tense. That's why we use didn't. Who didn't want to get on the train? The third sentence, all is also considered as sometimes all is considered singular. That's why you use third person singular. That's why you use s after want. All wants a comfortable life, and the interrogative form is who doesn't want a comfortable life. Now, negative sentences, sentences without auxiliary verb. Structure is do or does or did plus subject plus verb plus rest of the verb. You don't deserve this. So negative, you don't deserve this. And the affirmative for interrogative form will be do you deserve this? We saw this type of transformation before sentences with auxiliary verb. In the same way, sentences without auxiliary verb, if the sentence is in negative, we'll use positive interrogative form. That's why we did not use any don't or didn't form. You don't deserve this. Do you deserve this? In the same way, father doesn't want to see you. Does father want to see you? So we placed do, does, did before subject while making them interrogative. One thing you should remember that sentences containing never do not require not. Never is used to give negation. The sense of negation is found in the word never. So I never is so it doesn't require not or does not or don't. I never eat anything for luncheon. This is a famous, well-known sentence or a quotation from the text luncheon. I never eat anything for luncheon. And the interrogative form is do I ever eat anything for luncheon? Because in case of never, we will use ever. And we don't have to use not or any other form. If there is never, we will use ever. I never eat anything for luncheon. Do I ever eat anything for lunch? Another important thing is sentences containing nobody, none, or no one. The following structure should be followed. Who plus rest of the part. You see, uh, uh, some part of these sentences are written using purple color so that you can compare with each other. Nobody does it better. Who does it better? You see that in assertive form, nobody is there, and in negative form, who is there. So in place of nobody, if you use who, you can use you can make it interrogative. So only using who you can make an assertive sentence into interrogative sentence. Nobody does it better, and in place of nobody, we use who. None can help you, and who can help you? So in place of none, we use who. And no one was there. In place of no one, we use who. Who was there? So in sentences containing nobody, none, no one, only who plus rest of the word plus a question mark. This structure is used. And I hope you have enjoyed today's discussion. And I'd like to continue my discussion about changing sentences in the next class. That's all for today. Hope to see you there. Till then, Allah Hafiz.